Today we're going to work on some modifications to the ES-335 body. These are modifications that I have to do because I ordered some custom parts, or some upgraded parts rather. So the first thing I do before I work on anything is set out this nice piece of vinyl that I have, and I've already cleaned it up. Just wipe my hand over it again to make sure there's nothing binding to it, make sure it's nice and smooth, because I don't want to hurt the body in any way. And then I'll unwrap it. Set the strapping aside. I don't want to hurt it while it's still in the box. I want it nice and protected. So we'll open up my stuff here and pull out a volume pot. Pull out a switch. Pull out the pure tone jack. Now what we're going to see here, the switch hole, which is right here, should be the same size. We can set it down in this way just to make sure. So I don't have to do any modification to the switch hole. I do want to smooth out the bore of the hole just a little bit. But where I have to do the most modification is going to be the volume pots. And I have to do some modification to the studs for the bridge and the stop piece, because the ones that I ordered from Guitar Fetish are just a millimeter thicker. So now I'm going to check the jack, make sure it fits fine, and it does, so we do not have to do any modification there. Put the jack back together. Now this is a pure tone jack. These are CTS pots. I don't remember what the switch is, but it's a it's a Switchcraft switch, but it is a much better unit than the one that comes with the kit. See if I can get in there so you can see how that operates. So I'm going to get my Reamer. Let's take this apart first and show you what we have to do here. Now this volume pot is a lot bigger. We're going to show a comparison of the CTS pots versus the nickel pots that it comes with. Look at those things. This is what the StewMac kit comes with. These are the CTS pots. Major difference in size and the shank. Now for the switch, look at this beauty. Compared to this PCB-based wiggly And now the jack. This jack here, I've worked on electronics for a while, and things like this, yeah, it works, but this is a single bend here, and what tends to happen is these will bend outwards, and the only way to fix them or make them any better is to bend it back inwards. Plus, it's a rather thin plasticky material. I like the way that this, this is a Switchcraft, not a pure tone, but anyway, I like the way that this is created. It has two PCBs, some nice leads, and multiple bend points, so there's less chance of this going completely awry in the future. So now we get the nice little handy dandy Reamer out of the toolbox. I have my Reamer. What we're going to do with the Reamer, let's zoom in here. We're looking at these four holes right here. Lightly want to set the Reamer in place and just start spinning it. I'm just going to spin it by hand for now. I'm not putting a lot of pressure. I don't want to use a drill bit on this. A lot of people would. but I don't want to do anything to cause the veneer to crack. So the best way to do it is by hand. See if I can get a better angle for you to see. Please don't mind the stuff in the background. It is a workbench after all.
While using the reamer, you just want to apply light downward pressure while spinning the reamer in the volume and tone pot hole. If you apply too much pressure, you run the risk of cracking the top of the guitar. This is a very noisy process because the thin wood is going to amplify the minute vibrations between the wood and the reamer.
And then checking, see how much we have to go. So I have a little bit to go. I'm going to keep doing this process until this hole is big enough to fit one of the CTS pots. We're almost there. A little bit to go. I've run into an issue. The issue is my reamer is too long to go any further. So if I keep pressing, I'm going to end up making a hole in the back here, and we don't want that. So I have to, learning experience, that's why we do these things. I have to come up with a different way to enlarge these holes. I found a solution to the reamer issue. This reamer is way too long and hits the back of the body as I'm drilling out the holes. So I have these step bits that I'm going to use. For the way I want to do this is first I'm going to measure them and see what their width is, and this looks like, it says 9mm. So we are going to, let's look at this one. Looks like 3/8 is going to be our size. So I'm going to use this to hand spin the drill bit, which is going to be a pain. Very carefully drill this out to 3/8. I definitely want to be careful here because this is a lot thinner. Now instead of blowing that away and possibly getting the chips down into the body, I'm going to get the shop vac out and vacuum that up. When vacuuming up shavings on your guitar, you don't want the nozzle of your shop vac to scrape against the body of the guitar because that's going to leave marks on the wood. What I'm going to do is take an old microfiber rag and stick it over just like this, turn the shop vac on and go over it. All of the shavings will get caught here on the end of the microfiber. So we'll see that right now. If we look here, we can see all the shavings are in this microfiber. Now obviously you want to use a clean microfiber. This one has been freshly washed. It is dirty from other projects, but it's okay in this case because the guitar hasn't been sanded down for finish yet. There are still some sand and there's still some sawdust in the body, which I can get out with a little tube. So what I'm going to do is probably make a cap that'll go on here with a little clear tube. So I can shove that clear tube down in there and suck all that up because I don't want loose shavings rolling around in the body. Now that we have everything cleaned up and the shavings are out of the body, I'm going to test fitment of the CTS pots. So I'm just going to do this face down. Should slide in. Keep in mind that whenever you do your finish, you are going to get some clear down in there, and that will thicken these holes up a little bit, so you may have to do some extra work. Perfect. Oh, a little bit of grab still, but I'm seeing what it is. There's a piece of veneer on the back side that is chipped, which is what I was trying to avoid overall. That's catching. I have these countersinks that I'm now going to use to just add a little countersink to the hole to smooth it up. And I'm just going to give it one hand twist. And that's going to give it a nice little countersunk hole that I'll zoom in on here in just a second. If I can figure out how to use my words. And that keeps this from chipping quite a bit. You can see this gives this nice little round edge. There is a little bit of chipping, but I'll fix that whenever we go to sand it. Put sandpaper to get ready for finish. Next, I'm going to work on the bridge and stop pins. The pins that came with it have these nice little smooth barrels on the end. They're supposed to fit right in place. I didn't like these. I ended up buying nicer ones that are about 1 millimeter thicker. These I will have to carefully drill out. The whole hole needs to be just a little bit deeper and just a little bit wider. This is going to take some finessing because I definitely do not want to do anything to hurt this finish or the block underneath. So stay tuned while we prepare to do that. Okay, so while doing that work, I discovered an issue. I don't know if you can see down in there. There we go. Let me find it. You can see my finger. I'm pushing in on this wood here. It is cracked as I was taking the Dremel to it. See that little shadow right up there? This side is super, super, super thin. And that worries me when I get this stud put in, since it's going to have all that tension. Come on, you. Pulling forward. So I'm going to have to stick some glue down in there and let it harden. And I may put a piece of maple, little thin sheet on the backside here just to, or not maple, mahogany, just to give it some more strength. I'll glue it in and press it into place the best I can. A little disappointed in that. It feels, now I can't give an exact measurement, But if I get my pinky in here, oh yeah, this block is way, so it feels like this block is shifted way over this way. So I believe the edge of it, yep, the edge of it runs right along here. Whereas on this side, the edge of the block runs way out here. A little disappointing. StewMac is supposed to be the best of the best. But again, like I said, I don't think these bodies are made by StewMac. I could be wrong. Still disappointing in this. Nothing I can't work around. There's been worse issues working on wood projects. So stay tuned and we'll see how we fix that. Stud holes are plenty deep enough. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this, but one of the many tricks of this nice little dial gauge or slide rule is using this little bar here as a depth gauge. You can get your bar out, put it in the bottom of your hole, and slide the rule down until it bottoms out, and then you take your stud, check to see if you have enough depth, and obviously, if you can see there in my hand, we do. And I've checked all the holes, and they are the same depth. Actually, that one's a little bit, that one did move just a bit. Still plenty of depth. Plenty of depth. Plenty of depth. You know, if I would have been smart and done that prior to trying to drill out the, or remount these holes, I could have checked this against my Reamer and seen that I would have been way too shallow. That's okay. Learning process for everybody, or learning experience for everybody as we go along. I still have a little bit of work to do on these holes. At this point, I'm going to take some sandpaper and roll it up. I have this nice little 120 here. I want a heavier grit. I'm just going to roll it to the size that I need. I'm going to get down in these holes. Oh, a little bit smaller. And I'm just going to twist it. What this is doing is gently sanding the inside of the hole and also taking care of our little bubble here. I made this ready to press in. But I definitely do have to strengthen that hole. This is not going to work out because it is cracked literally straight through the center of the hole. Again, very disappointing. But hey, what do you expect when you don't make it yourself, right?
In the next video, I'll be covering what I've done to fill the tailpiece hole and re-drill it back out, my discoveries afterwards, and me reaching out to Stuart McDonald for a replacement body. I still get to keep this body, and I'm going to do something with it, but plans have slightly changed. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching.